Wichita, Kansas, voted as one of the top 3 worst places to date in America. For many, the dating scene seems like it's the hardest it's ever been before. And for others, it just feels hopeless or impossible. They feel like they're caught up in this infinite loop of trying to find the one. For many, they've tried the dating apps, and that doesn't seem to work either. It's sad to say, but in some sense, I believe we made the dating culture how it is today. This is why I'm just asking the question, do you think the dating scene in Wichita is bad, and why? To hear the stories from both sides of the aisle, so that we as a society can start making the dating scene a great, beautiful place again, of potential growth and happiness, so that the dating scene is truly better for all. It seems like the more and more people I ask from my generation to even the younger generation, they say that the dating scene has just gotten harder and harder, it seems. And that maybe just doesn't make sense. We seem to have more and more dating apps, more and more opportunities to meet people. So, how can that even be? So, recently, 2 years ago, I moved here to Wichita, Kansas, and it's been voted as one of the top 3 worst places to date in America for the past 5 years in a row almost. So, I said, what better place to start from and to gain some insight as to why is the dating scene so hard nowadays? So, I asked people, do you think the dating scene is good or bad in your opinion? Do you think it's the people or the environment? And how can Wichita actually improve the dating scene? So, if you wouldn't mind hitting that like and that subscribe button, because if you can't see, I've gotten 3 shades darker, especially after doing this. It was only supposed to be a week-long project, but somehow it turned to 3 weeks because people don't like to do interviews on face-to-face. And to all the people that did do the interview face-to-face, I like to personally say thank you so much for doing that and taking the courage to talk to a stranger. Besides looking at my farmer's tan, come along with me and let's figure out why the dating scene's so bad nowadays.
I personally think it's not that good. I do have a girlfriend, but I met her in high school. But most of my friends who go to WSU or just older in Wichita, it seems like they kind of struggle to meet a lot of girls, and it seems like it's just kind of the environment. Not a lot of stuff to bring people together, like young people.
I personally don't think it's too great. And also, especially like being in college, there's this thing, hookup culture. I'm sure a lot of people have heard of it. But I don't, like, morally and ethically, I don't like to participate in it. So it's a little harder to find people that want to date someone, or finding a genuine person that you can actually just go on a date and not hook up with the first or second date. So that's why I think it's kind of bad. And also, I think it's also part of like the Wichita community as well. I guess I don't really see like my soulmate being in Wichita, Kansas. So maybe that's another reason why I might not think the scene is the best. And I think it's just not as encouraged. I guess a lot of people come here to kind of settle down with a family, right? Or have like a stable income because they have a good job out here, raise their kids and family. So I don't really see a lot of young people going out and stuff like that. And this kind of like goes into like the nightlife of Wichita. It's not very good. There's just not very many clubs or bars that people kind of go to. And when you go to like other bigger cities, there's hundreds and thousands of bars that people kind of go, and that's where they meet. They go out on dates after and stuff like that. And Wichita doesn't really have that. And college, it's a little harder when you have different morals than what people have to kind of participate in that. And like being recently single, I've kind of realized that like, people aren't just wanting to date all the time. They kind of want like that exciting fun of like chasing another person or whatever, because I hear that from my acquaintances and mutual friends and stuff. So I just don't like to partake in it. So maybe that's why I think it's not the best.
In my personal opinion, I think it's pretty bad. I think it's because I think it's like a big melting pot in a way. Because like, everyone is so focused in Wichita, because Wichita's so growing. I feel like everyone's so focused in their own lives that it's kind of hard to like have those relationships open up.
In my personal opinion, I believe dating in Wichita is good at the moment. For me, dating, it should be more about like the person, the people, like that are in the situation, and also their environment. It's like it consists of the two people are like with each other.
So we didn't meet in Wichita, but our friends seem to have a decent go at dating in the Wichita area. Places to meet would be like church, obviously. Meet people with the same values as you. The gym, you know, our generation, it's just booming right now to go to the gym. And there's tons of young kids. Like I know that we go to WSU YMCA. 80% of the demographic there is just college kids. So yeah, and they all have the same hobbies, you know, for the most part, they all like lifting. So it's a great place to meet people with the same hobbies as you.
There's a lot to do outside, a lot to do just to get involved in things, a lot of organizations. So if you put the effort in, I think it's a great place to meet people like you.
In my personal opinion, I have to say that it can be both, actually. It just depends on who you meet. You can run into a bad guy or you can run into a good guy. It just depends. Mainly for me, I would choose dating sites over just finding someone out in the street or finding someone you've known your whole life. Because my ex was actually a person that I've known since middle school, and he just was not the best guy ever. Now it's just, I finally found someone that I can relate to, who's been through what I've been through, who treats me like I am the absolute queen of his world, who just loves having me around. He loves spending more time with me. It's been a really good experience for me, but other people might not say the same thing. It just depends on who it is.
I honestly don't have much to say about the dating scene. I haven't really been dating since I moved to Wichita, so I guess it's not good. I think it just depends on, you know, how much you put yourself out there, what you're involved in, you know, your workplace, connections. I moved here not really knowing many people, so I feel like that's what has made it kind of difficult.
So it seemed like a lot of people that we asked said that it was the environment here in Wichita, Kansas that made the dating scene so bad. But I also took some interviews off camera, and a lot of those people, even the people on camera, as you could see, said that it was the culture and it was the people here. As you heard a lot, probably you heard a lot of that hookup culture there. And I think that may be a really great insight as to maybe that may be a main cause of causing the dating scene to be so bad nowadays. With a lot of people saying here in Wichita, Kansas, that the dating scene wasn't that great, it made me wonder, is it the people or the environment here that has made the dating scene so bad, in their opinion? So do you think it's more of the people or the environment then?
I think it's definitely the environment. Like I think people want to meet each other, but just don't have the opportunity, places to do that. So I'd kind of say, yeah, blame it a little bit more on the environment.
I think it's a bit of both in a way, because the environment like this, like right now, like we're Wichita State, is more like a commuter school. It's not like a college town where like everyone's super young. So here's just like you have to really know your spaces and areas. You have to know the right nightclubs and stuff like that. So, and the people as well, I feel like. But I feel I can't put too much the blame on the people though.
I think it's kind of a mixture of both. I would say it's more the people, just because being in college, that's the mentality of all the other college students, is that hookup culture. But when I kind of say like a bit of the environment, I think of like not having as many bars or not having as many clubs to go to, and it doesn't encourage people to kind of go out and do things. So that might be a reason why I don't think the dating scene is as good. But I think a lot of it is the mentality of the people in Wichita, the people at Wichita State, and the college students here that just, I don't think dating is the best.
For me, because the environment influences people. So it can be both, in my personal opinion. Both like play a role with each other, because the people can affect the environment and the environment can affect the people. For example, if one person was a very toxic environment, that person is going to be very toxic, and that's not helpful for if you want a healthy relationship. So if you had like a healthy environment when you were a kid, maybe you'll be healthier, but you may never know. It depends. So for me, it's more the environment has more effect on it.
I think it would be the people mostly, because Wichita, being in the Midwest, like people are so, and I find myself doing this too, it's so small. You're always concerned about other people, and like, you know, like we just got back from Chicago and there's millions of people walking around all the time, and it just makes you more secure in like your lifestyle and stuff like that. Being in the Midwest, everyone, it's kind of cliquish, you know, and people can get in their things and not really expand, you know, lifestyles and stuff, not see other cultures, stuff like that. So I would say mostly people, because here in Wichita, I mean, we have all sorts of stuff. We've been going to the baseball games, the Wind Surge games. They just put up that new stadium. It's huge. There's tons of people there. There's just, you know, all sorts of nightlife here. Right now we got the farmers market, like probably hundreds of people there. The people just need to do better at getting out and exerting themselves more in that area, I think.
Yeah, and that people say it's like a big city with a small town feel, and I think they have that in their heads of like, oh, they're gonna know so and so, they're gonna know so and so, and they don't want to put themselves out there. And so yeah, I think it comes down to that.
I think it's more of the environment here. There's a lot of strange crowds in this city. Some people can be great, other people can just be weirdos, for all I care. I try and stay away from the weird people. It just depends on the environment you're in or the people that you're around.
I'm gonna say the environment, and it's mostly just due to COVID. So when I moved here, it was 2020, fall 2020. So it was like people are still wearing masks, some people are quarantining, the schools weren't even in session, and that's where I was working at. So I would say mostly the environment.
So with a lot of people, they said that it was the environment here that caused the dating scene to be so bad. But even some people said it was the culture, hookup culture. And I think this is something that we've probably created from all the online dating that we've done. Now it's just so easy to click, swipe, and just, have one night stand. But we all know that. But the true question is starting to make me wonder, the culture is something that we can control. But there is something that we can't control too. It's the environment. And the ones that truthfully do control the environment are the leaders, are the mayors, are the state governors, are the people that we put in charge. I just wondered the question. If they had a chance to tell any of those leaders anything about how to improve the dating scene here in Wichita, Kansas, what would they tell them?
You and I never run out of stuff to do. If we don't know what to do, we go try something new, hit or miss, if it fails or not. I don't know, the only thing I could think of is more stuff for young people to do that's not college and not drinking.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Yeah,
the
that's a good
biggest
point.
thing I think I could see, because it's either you go out and meet somebody for the evening or you go to school. So I think doing more things for targeting young people without booze would get it done.
Yeah, like you mentioned school. It's a lot easier to meet someone when you're at a college, but like I'm 25, and she's 24. Once you get out of school, it's a lot tougher. So recreational things, like we just went to the water park on the south side with tons of huge pool floaties and stuff, blobs, stuff like that. More stuff like that, because all of our friends, if you're doing something on a Friday or Saturday night, it's going to involve, like she said, just going out and drinking. It's like, oh, that's fun, but it's not adventurous. It's not something that you're going to think back on like it was a great memory. 10 years from now, you're not going to think back on like great memories at Pump House.
Right.
So
Yeah.
just more fun things that make greater, more long-lasting memories.
I would ask the mayor to basically look into more good relationships that they've met online rather than bad relationships, and ask the people how they feel more about those kind of relationships that they've met online.
I just think make sure that Wichita stays small business friendly. I feel like it is small business friendly. Like you always, hear about things that are opening up, or you'll have a community that welcomes in small businesses. You're welcoming creativity, ingenuity, socialization, because it's like, oh, it's a new spot. People are going to go there. Maybe they're going to have an event or do pop-ups or stuff like that.
After conducting these interviews and performing this experiment, I've come to the conclusion that the people in Wichita, in a way, have created this superficial culture, one of hookups. But I don't just believe this is Wichita, and I don't believe it has to be this way anymore. Maybe what comes to mind for you is, I've tried dating before, and all it's done is I've just been hurt deeply, down to my core. I've been wronged. And I hope that after this experiment or seeing these interviews, that you can see that not all people are bad, and there are good people out there, and to not give up hope. Because after performing this experiment, I've come to the realization myself that there is truly someone out there for everyone. See, we all have messed up. Even I have messed up before and ruined something great. Maybe that's what makes this journey of life so beautiful. It's because there never is truly a day we stop learning or growing. I believe we all have two choices. We can say that it's never happened, or we can take the time to reflect, learn, and grow. I believe if we all start to take the second route, the dating culture and the dating scene both could get better. And as to the environment in Wichita, I would say this plays a key role, and I would challenge the Wichita leaders and business owners. You have the power to change this and to make a better environment for your kids, family, and generations to follow. Because whether we like it or not, we all have played a key role in making the dating scene what it is today. Thank you.